Hi, my name is Shelly, and welcome back to Just a Girl and Her Healing podcast. Today's episode is titled Abandoned but Not Broken, because even in the silence and absence of those who should have been there, I survived. I grew, and now I am healing. Before I begin this journey with you today, I just want to say this, okay? What I'm about to share is real and vulnerable. And I believe that by being real, by being open, we don't just heal ourselves, we create space for others to heal too. So as you listen, I want you to go ahead and grab a notebook and a pen, because at the end of this episode, I'll be giving you some reflection questions about abandonment, questions that I hope will help you on your own journey. So let's settle in, get comfortable, and let's walk through this part of the journey together. On episode 1, I shared a glimpse of the pain of rejection, abandonment, and abuse, and how it shaped me. Today, I want to go deeper. I'll take you back to the very beginning of my story, because before healing arrived, there were wounds that I had to face. I want to open up and share a piece of my story that's been with me for so long, something that changed the way I saw myself, and that's abandonment. Sometimes when we talk about deep things like abandonment, our bodies can hold on to tension we don't even notice. So before I share this part of my story, let's ground ourselves together in this moment. Wherever you are, sitting, lying down, maybe even walking, just pause for a second, okay? Gently close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or soften your gaze. Now, take a deep breath in through your nose and slowly release it through your mouth. Begin when you're ready. Let's do that again. Inhale while letting your chest rise and let your belly expand. And exhale, letting your body soften. Begin when you're ready. One more time, nice and slow. Breathe in and release everything you don't need to carry right now. Begin when you're ready. I now want you to feel your feet or your body pressing into the surface beneath you. Imagine roots growing from you, grounding you into the earth, reminding you that you are safe in this moment. And as you breathe, slightly remind yourself, I am here. I am safe. I am enough. Take one last breath together with me. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes and let's begin. Can I be honest with you? Talking about abandonment feels like peeling back skin that's barely healed. It's tender. It's uncomfortable, but it's also necessary, because silence doesn't heal. It just hides the wound. As far as I can remember, my childhood wasn't complete with love and guidance. Okay, it was about surviving in the spaces where I felt invisible. And that's the thing about abandonment. It isn't just something that happens in a moment. Okay, it's an experience that lingers. And when it happens as a child, it doesn't just hurt. It teaches you stories about yourself, stories that can echo in your adult life, shaping how you see love, how you see safety and belonging. That's pretty much what abandonment does. It plants a lie and then whispers it over and over until you forget it was never the truth. When I think back to my childhood, I don't just remember places or faces. I remember absence. Okay, I remember waiting for people who never came. I remember being dropped off in houses that weren't mine, trying to convince myself I belonged when deep down I knew I didn't. You see, I remember the exact moment I realized my life was different. The exact moment it became clear that love and support was something distant, something that meant for others but not for me. It was when I saw my classmates' parents showing up for a parent-teacher conference or any special school event and no one showed up for me. It was when their parents were with them on the first day of school and I was alone. It was the quiet, empty space in my heart where warmth should have been but never was. Perhaps it was the lingering question of whether I would ever find a place where I truly belonged. Maybe it was when I realized that not once in my childhood have I ever remembered hearing my parents say the words, "I love you." You see, abandonment wasn't a single event, but a series of realization that settled deep in my bones over time. Okay, and that kind of realization, it doesn't just sit in your heart. It makes you question your worth before you even know what worth is. Maybe you felt that too. That quiet question in the back of your mind. Why wasn't I chosen? Why wasn't I enough to stay? But here's what I'm learning. Healing begins the moment we stop running from that ache and sit with it. So I want to invite you into this with me, okay? Go ahead and take a breath and ask yourself, where in my life did I first feel the sting of being left? How has that moment shaped the way I see myself today? And what would it feel like to reclaim that little version of me, the one who thought they weren't enough, and tell them, you are loved. You were always worthy. You know, as children, we don't really know how to separate circumstances from self. When we're abandoned, left behind, or rejected, we don't say, oh, this happens because my mom had to work or because life was hard. No, what we feel deep in our little hearts is something must be wrong with me. For me, abandonment didn't come with words. It came with silence, with the ache of watching people I love go on without me. I was too young to understand the reasons, but old enough to feel the emptiness of being left behind. That emptiness followed me, shaping how I saw myself, how I thought I had to fight for love. With my mother searching for more than what Jamaica could offer, she left while I was too young to understand the word migration. All I knew was that she was gone. And when you're that young, you don't see sacrifice, okay? You only feel the abandonment. You don't think about the opportunities. You only wonder, why not me? Why wasn't I enough to stay for? Even when I visited her during the holidays, those visits, as special as they were, didn't erase the years of missing her. Okay? They gave me pieces of what I longed for, but never the whole. The distance created questions I couldn't put into words and a longing I didn't know how to carry. Her absence left an emptiness in me that I couldn't quite understand as a child. And that left an ache in me. Maybe you've carried it too. Maybe you felt the hollow space of someone leaving, the sting of someone choosing another path over you, the ache of wondering if love could ever truly stay. You see, that ache, that question, it's a wound that deserves to be seen. And it's also the place where healing begins. When we finally give it the light of our attention and voice of our truth. As I look back on my teenage years, I can still feel that quiet longing. The wish that my mother has been there for me, to listen to my fears, my dreams, and the changes I was going through. The parts of myself I didn't understand. I imagined what it would be like to talk to her about boys, to hear her advice on love and heartbreak, to have her guide and comfort me when I felt lost. My father's absence was a different kind of wound. Okay, he was physically there, yes. But over the years, his love for alcohol and other women always came first. Even before the role of a parent I desperately needed. He was present in body, but absent in every way that truly, truly mattered. My simple needs and desires as a child felt like burden, and I quickly learned to not ask for much. You see, affection, attention, even the smallest gesture of care and nurture, they were freely given to my half-brothers and sisters from his then wife, while I was left to navigate life feeling like an afterthought. Never first to receive the love, the safety, the reassurance every child longs for. And I felt that difference. Actually, I carried it for many, many years. Because for me, it wasn't about someone being gone. It was about someone standing right in front of me, but still somehow out of reach. And that quiet, unseen absence from both of my parents taught me to question myself. Why not me? Why wasn't I enough? Why wasn't I worth choosing? When you carry questions like that, they haunt you, okay? They don't just stay at home. They follow you into friendships, into relationships, even into the spaces where family should have felt safe. I felt like the one always on the outside looking in. And because I already felt unseen, it left me open to experience I should have never had to endure. It made me a target for abuse. And I'm talking about sexual abuse. That's the hidden cost of abandonment. It doesn't just wound you, it makes you vulnerable. I want you to pause for a moment here. Think about your own life. Where have you felt unseen? Where have you carried the weight of someone's absence, even when they were there in body? And as you reflect, consider this. Those experiences may have shaped you, but they do not define your worth. You are worthy of being held, chosen, and loved exactly as you are. As I grew older, the patterns continued, just in different forms. Abandonment doesn't disappear when you become an adult. It shows up in the people you choose, in the relationships you stay in, okay, in the way you measure your worth. For me, it showed up in love. I was drawn to people who couldn't give me what I needed, people who mirrored the same absence I felt as a child. I accepted less than I deserved because deep down, I thought less was all I could have. And when those relationships ended, it doesn't just sting you, okay? It reopened the wound, whispering again. See? You're never enough. You're not worth staying for. It showed up in friendships too. I would overgive, overextend, just hoping someone would choose me in return. And when they didn't, the pain wasn't just about that moment. It was about the little girl still waiting to be chosen. You see, abandonment has a way of making you crave love and fear it at the same time. Wanting closeness but doubting it, longing for love but not trusting it. That cycle drained me for years. But here's what I've learned. I don't have to keep repeating the story. I don't have to keep choosing people who don't choose me. I don't have to keep proving my worth. My worth was never something I had to earn. It was always there, always mine. And when it comes to my children, I made the conscious choice to break the cycle. I refused to let them carry the same emptiness I carried. I refused to let them feel unseen or unchosen. So every day I show up for them fully, with presence, with love, with attention. I hold them in my arms, in my heart, and in my time. I am determined that their experience of love will feel safe. It will feel complete and unwavering, because they will never have to worry if they are enough. You see, breaking the cycle doesn't erase my wounds, but it transformed them. It turns my pain into purpose, okay? It turns the story of abandonment into a story of choice, a story of presence, a story of love passed forward rather than repeated. You see, over time, I found my way to forgiveness. Not the kind that erases the past, but the kind that releases the grip on my heart. I forgave my mother, not because it erased the pain, but I finally understood that she made the best choices she could with what she had at the time. Though today our relationship is still distant, we speak every now and then, and though a part of me still longs for more, I've learned to accept that as enough. Enough doesn't always mean healed. It doesn't always mean whole, but sometimes enough means peace. And it helped me to stop defining myself by the love I didn't get. And maybe that's a reflection for you too. Where in your life have you had to redefine what enough looks like, just to keep your heart at peace? I released the hold my father's choices once had over me. I see now that his absence, his inability to show up, wasn't a reflection of my worth. It was a reflection of the battles he never faced within himself. And realizing that gave me freedom. You know, the freedom to stop carrying his shadow and start living from the love I can give to myself. And realizing that gave me freedom. The freedom to stop carrying his shadows and start living from the love I can give myself and to those who truly, truly choose me. Maybe for you too, there's a release waiting. A moment to see that someone's absence or choices doesn't truly define your value, and that the love you give yourself is the love that will always, always stay. Before I end this episode, and as promised, I will leave you some journal prompts at the end, but let's do a short visualization. Go ahead and close your eyes if you can, and I want you to picture yourself as a child. See that little version of you, the one carrying the weight of not being enough. Now imagine walking up to her. Sit beside her. Let her know you're not leaving. Go ahead and place your arms around her if she allows. And I want you to whisper these words to her. You are loved. You are seen. You are enough. I will never abandon you. Go ahead and stay with her for a moment. Let her feel your presence, okay? Let her know she doesn't have to carry this alone anymore because you're here now. And go ahead and take a deep breath in and slowly, slowly return to this moment when you're ready. And before I end this episode, if it resonates with you, I want to leave you with some journal prompts. Ask yourself, what's the first memory I had of feeling abandoned? How did abandonment shape the way I see myself now? Where do I see it showing up in my adult life? What stories about myself have I carried because of abandonment? If I could speak to the younger version of me, what would I say to them? How can I begin separating my worth from the time I've been abandoned? I want you to take your time with these, okay? Let the words come to you as they need to, without judgment. Because sometimes writing it down is the first step towards loosening abandonment's grip on us. And before we close, I want to leave you with a mantra. Something you can return to whenever abandonment feels loud. I want you to whisper these words to yourself. I am worthy. I am enough. Abandonment does not define me. I choose myself, and that is more than enough. I want you to remember this, okay? Your childhood wounds do not define your future. They only point you back to healing. Thank you for sitting with me in this space today. Sharing this isn't easy, but I know it's necessary for me and maybe for you too. I'm sending nothing but love, light, and peace your way. Until next time, take care of your heart because it deserves to feel chosen. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you on the next episode.